This rant is about Canada. But before we get into it, please help stop an autocratic government, a government that wants to control the news that you see by paying news sources. We aren't paid by the news sources, so please donate, and please, if you can, subscribe and ask your friends. Many of you by now will have seen that interview with the Algoma steelworker. The Prime Minister was in Sault Ste. Marie to curry favor. That was not on government business. And by the way, he goes in all over Canada to parties and to little celebrations on government jets, RCMP all over the place, and limos all over the place. He has a set of limos now to rival most kings and queens and certainly the President of the United States, all paid for by you. He doesn't need all that foo-for-ah. He only needs a little bit of security. But we have a royal, imperial prime minister who's going to be doing that for the next year and a half on your tab in order to try to get elected. So you look at that interview, middle-class guy working for a steelworker, and he was moderate, he was temperate. Here he is talking to the prime minister, and he's saying, listen, I just don't like paying 40% taxes. Prime Minister says, yeah, but you got great dental care. No. I have to pay money for my children. I have a plan, but I have to pay money on top of that for my children. He was not interested in transsexual issues. He was not interested in all the social matters that the Prime Minister is. He was not interested in ministers saying, unless we do this in the schools, kids are going to die. He was what used to be an average Canadian trying to pay his taxes, bring his family up. And the Prime Minister lost that debate, as I hope he loses the debates with most Canadians over the next little while. But the Prime Minister turned and said, well, we've got donuts. And that's what's going wrong with the politics in Canada. We have a Prime Minister, flies all over the place, dealing with issues that most people don't care about at your taxpayers' expense, and handing out donuts. He's going to be handing out checks. He's going to be doing whatever he can over the next year and a half to try to win re-election. And I hope most Canadians are like that Algoma steelworker. Polite, reasoned, thoughtful, and honest. And at the end of that interview, he said to the Prime Minister, well, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be around in a year's time anyway. Hopefully that's such a case as well. So it says something about what Canada used to be and what Canada is threatening to become under this Prime Minister and most of his insipid ministers and his MPs who want nothing but their pensions to stay on until October, and the NDP propping up this government, this corrupt, incompetent government, because the leader of the NDP, if he holds on for a year to October, he will get a big pension for life. So let's keep our eye on the ball. Let's stay attuned to the real arguments. There'll be more of them with guests on this show for at least the next year and a half if we get the support to keep it going. And please donate and subscribe. And let's be reasonable and be Canadian. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.